And I know you've spoken openly in various interviews in various places that you then went into a place of depression, maybe not straight after that, but how much does almost the success and that high almost, do you think, equate to then what can become a low?
It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, like everybody, I suppose everybody's different. And it's just the way that I had, having sort of grown up as an elite athlete, you need some luck. I was just born a good athlete. I don't know, whatever. I was always winning. And then all of a sudden you don't start winning and you start coming to the end of your career and you start getting injured and things don't work for you. What else do you know? And that was my self-belief, self-confidence. And that's the thing with athletes, is that you're known for your results. And it's tough. That's why it's really tough on juniors who, you could be a little 12-year-old, or you could be a giant 12-year-old. How's a giant 12-year-old, little 12-year-old going to be? So, you have your self-esteem based. You can't have your self-esteem based on results, because anything can happen. But we, as athletes and as tennis players, that's what we compare ourselves to. That's what we do. What's your ranking? You're better than me. I'm better than you. I beat you in this match. I'm better than you. So it's horrible to lose and to come off. But as coaches, I think it's one of the important things to do is for us to really work on the things on the process. And, looking back, the process for me wasn't necessarily the most enjoyable thing, because I used to kill myself. Yeah. But it was to win matches. And so that was what it was all about. Now my coaching philosophy is changed. It's about enjoying the process, about doing the little things, about the fine things, and that's kind of my job, is to clean up all the messy stuff that's around a player's game, or diet, or nutrition, or sleep, or various things like that, so things can hopefully just fall into place. I mean, some of the best coaching I've ever done didn't necessarily have results, but I can walk away from that and go, I did a heck of an effort. Everything was lined up, but it just didn't happen as successfully as we wanted. And so be it. But, to the nth degree of, getting into meditation, getting into sports psychology, getting into changing rackets, sending strings, adapting, all these little things that a coach needs to do. And so the process is what it's about, not necessarily the results. You say the results will happen if you go out there and do what we've done, and have a belief that you are now fitter because you brought on this trainer, and now you're mentally stronger. You'll be fine when you're serving for the match or under pressure. You'll be better. You'll recover better from that match. All these things you can put into place, and sometimes they cost a lot of money. You work with some top people, but that is the process, and just have a belief in the process, and just go out there and you'll be fine. And so, I didn't really quite, though I had a good time with Ian and with Barkers, and my team were a great team. I think I probably relied more on the results, that was when the results stopped coming from injuries or retirement. Then where was my self-esteem coming from? And I wasn't too sure. Lucky I was a father, and I could put myself in my kids, but there's only so much that can do. I did fall into bad depression at times. Yeah.
And was that when you were playing or after you stopped playing?
Both, mainly towards the end. At the end, I didn't want to. As I said, I restructured my game, I rebuilt my game, had enthusiasm about my game and the biomechanics and all this sort of stuff, which I learned from an Australian guy called Brad Langeveld, who was in the UK for quite a while. That's where I met him. And I was playing. It was at the end of my career, and I had to play qualies at Wimbledon, qualify, which I did. And he saw me play one match, and he'd helped me with because I had a back problem, so I had to change my serve. So he helped me a little bit.
You landed on the right leg, didn't you?
Yes, I used to come in like Boris Beck. The old days, a lot of the players used to step in the court. And the reason now they hop in with on that front leg, they hop in and then run off. And most people don't realize that tennis rules back in the 50s, at a guess, was that your foot could not leave the ground. So when you served, you couldn't leave
Perfect for me now.
So it's all right for me. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. So, but as soon as there was a guy looking for you, if your foot came off the ground, foot fault. So you had the only way to get into the net and serve volley was you had to walk into the court, basically walk in. So your foot would hit the ground, into the court as you hit the ball. And so you couldn't hop. So that's where that walk-in serve came. Becker was obviously the most successful server with that power. But I was still taught to that, but that wasn't great for my back. So I had to learn the other way around. So I learned that, and Brad helped me with that. And then he saw me play a match at Wimbledon, the qualies. And I said, "Hey, Brad, how are you? What are you doing?" He said, "I'm over here now." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know that." And he said, here's a ladder. Don't open it until after Wimbledon. And I'm like, "Okay." He said, "Promise me not to open it until after Wimbledon." And I was like, "Okay, all right." I put it in my bag, and I qualified, lost to Byron Black first round, which was just, I think it was my last Wimbledon, maybe the second last. And I just forgot about the letter, and then I found it. Oh my, here's this letter. So I opened it up, and this is before the days of the replays, and you could go on, log online and get YouTube, whatever. He'd watch one of my matches, and he said the note was, you can't do that with that shot. This shot, you can't do that. You'll only be able to hit that way. And then he just basically knew my game, and I was like, okay, well, I guess he kind of knew my game a little bit anyway. But I called him up and said, "How did you?" He said, "Well, biomechanically, you can't possibly do A, B, and C." And I was like, "Tell me more." He said, "Well, and you'll get injured because your knee will be coming through here, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Yeah, it is injured." And so I said, "I want to learn." And he said, "Well, I'm a scientist. Basically, I'm a scientist. I do biomechanics, body movement specialist." And that's when I really started enjoying tennis. But I changed my game. I had so much fun doing it, frustrating at times. But at the end of my career, I was actually hitting the ball harder than I ever did in my life, serving bigger than I ever did in my life. So I went on to the Legends Tour because they invited me on the Legends Tour, but I still wanted to play on the tour. And I couldn't get onto the tour. They just wouldn't give me a wild card anywhere I went. I applied for something like 30-something wild cards, and I got 3
Really?
for the year. And that's I was just depressed about it. And I said, I'm playing Legends events. I don't want to be playing Legends. I want to be playing pro events. And I felt, real bad depression. That kind of sort of came on and off until, for quite a while, until I did a lot of, I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of meditation, a lot of self-help, a lot of courses. And the last 20 years has really been all about that, is working on myself and getting better and understanding the mental side of being human and combining that with the tennis. So it's an interesting bottleneck, I suppose, when you come to everything funnels into will it work on the court as a coach, or too late for me as a player, of course, but
no, but even, and fair play to your Pat, and I think also you sharing that, because I think the reality is most of us in the tennis industry, in various roles that we play, whether that's as a player, as a parent, as a coach, as a fitness coach, as an academy director, we can hold our self-esteem and self-worth to results, as a coach, to the players that you're coaching. If the player's winning, as a player, naturally the results, the tournaments you're playing, I think it's such a monumental topic, actually, because that does tend to be, and I think we need to normalize this conversation, because it is what happens. It's you know what I mean. You're not the first, the last. That you're the one that's able to talk about it.